If we are really anxious, then we will be knowing, then we cannot miss out. How can we forget? I'm shocked. What it means to be really anxious, Pranav?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One must be non-envious Prabhuji.
No, that is not really anxious. No one remembers what is really anxious. Priyanka?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Having desire to hear more and more.
Yeah, that is there. Bolo, Ravinder?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One's chief priority is to hear the glories of the Supreme.
Yes, yes, yes. This is the main occupation. Everything else is secondary. This one activity is most exclusively sought after. Everything else is insignificant. One is aligning his heart. One is aligning his life and soul to dedicate to hear. Then one is really anxious. Okay. And what is the qualification of a speaker? Who can speak Srimad Bhagavatam? What qualification is expected from him to be the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam? अगर हम श्रोता और वक्ता दोनों बनना चाहते हैं तो पता तो होना चाहिए ना कि क्या स्टैंडर्ड है. बोलिए माननीय माता जी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
धन्यवाद. हरे कृष्ण.
He must be surrendered to Supreme Lord.
In what terms? How can he be say that he surrendered in terms of being a speaker?
He following all the
Now,
what our Lord is.
no, what is the Sanskrit term? That's it. It is all vague. अरे इतना डिस्कशन किया था हमने उस दिन. अक्षय कुमार, आपको कुछ स्मरण है?
कृष्ण जी
हरे कृष्णा. आपके पास
जी जो
भागवतम है?
जी प्रभु जी उड़िया
दिखाओ.
जी अभी गांव में आया तो रूम में मतलब फोटो
हाँ,
लगी।
घुमा फिरा के तुम्हारे पास भागवतम नहीं है ना हाथ में, ये पूछ रहा हूँ. चेहरे से पकड़ लूंगा मैं भैया, तुम मुझे डॉज नहीं कर सकते. वो चेहरे पे लिखा है. गांव में आए तो तुम्हें पता था क्लास सुननी है तो भागवतम ले आते. क्या समस्या है? लेकिन अगर वो प्रायोरिटी होगी तभी तो आएगी ना. मोबाइल फोन आया या नहीं आया गांव में, या वो भी वहीं छोड़े आए?
लेके आया।
बस, तो मोबाइल ही है हमारी प्रायोरिटी. व्हाट इज द क्वालिफिकेशन ऑफ अ स्पीकर?
जो प्रामाणिक ये गुरु परंपरा के प्रामाणिक।
शट अप यार, डोंट गिव मी ऑल नॉनसेंस. जो हमने 15वें श्लोक में डिस्कस किया वो बताओ. प्रामाणिक व्यक्ति ही वो स्तर तक आ सकता है, और सारे प्रामाणिक व्यक्ति भी नहीं आ पाएंगे, कुछ ही आ पाएंगे. अभी सब पन्ने पलट कर देख रहे हैं. व्हाट इज द क्वालिफिकेशन ऑफ अ हियरर? एंड स्पीकर तो बोल दिया स्पीकर. Manoram Prabhu, why your video is off? I'm surprised. 15th verse हमने इतना डिस्कस किया उस दिन. No one remembers what is the qualification of a speaker. That is first thing which is said in the verse. Yes. बोलिए रविंदर and Priyanka.
Prabhuji, the first and foremost qualification of the heredity, he should engage it continuously and glorify the Supreme Lord.
Hearer or speaker?
Speaker.
Okay. No, still there is something more. Who can continuously glorify Supreme Lord? What is that qualification required? Are we able to do that? We're nowhere near. Why? What is the missing part? This is what very clearly it is mentioned here. दयाशील आपको क्या सुनाई नहीं दे रहा?
Prabhuji, he should not have envy for the Supreme Lord. Envy.
वो भूल जाओ, वो तो भगवत गीता में बेसिक क्वालिफिकेशन है. एनवियस पर्सन के लिए तो भागवतम है ही नहीं. नहीं क्लियर हो रहा है कंसेप्ट. दिया है भैया, यहाँ साफ दिया है. महात्मा एकांत परायणस्य, that is exclusive worship and service is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one aspect, exclusive worship and exclusive service, both for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tanno bhavan va bhagavad pradhano mahatama ekant parayanasya. Then Hare Rudaram Charitam Vishuddham. This is second. First and foremost is that he is Ekanta Parayanasya. He has exclusive worship and he engages in exclusive service of the Supreme Lord. And of course, he is always engaged in Hare Rudara Charitam, glorifying the Supreme Lord. Okay, we go ahead, move forward. प्लीज रिव्यू, रिवाइज, रिमेम्बर, राइट. लिखोगे नहीं तो याद नहीं रहेगा. हाँ, आपकी जो मेमोरी है इतनी प्योर नहीं है. हाँ, उसमें बहुत कुछ और एडल्टरेटेड है. तो उस एडल्टरेशन को क्लियर करने के लिए लिखिए. आप सबने लिखना बंद कर दिया है. लिखना बंद करेंगे तो कुछ स्मृति में जाएगा नहीं. So the sages are saying, please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. This is really anxious. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, and they are very dear to the pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. So now Srila Suta Goswami will speak after hearing the anxiousness of the sages assembled. Suta Uvacha Aho Vayam Janmabhrita Adhyah Asma Vriddhanuvritya Viloma Jata Daskulyam Adhim Vidhunoti Shighram Mahatmanam Abhidhano Yoga. Srila Sut Goswami said, O God, although we were born in the mixed caste, Aho Vayam Janmabhrito Adya Hi Asmaha. Janma Pito, where his birth was, it was in a mixed caste. We are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great souls who are advanced in knowledge. Vridhana Vritya Viloma Jata. Viloma Jata is mixed caste. There are two types of Jata is birth. One is Vilom and the other is Pratilom. So he is in Vilom. But Vridhanu Vritya, how he was elevated? Because he has that vritti, that inclination. What was the inclination? To hear and to serve. We are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great souls who are advanced in knowledge. Whom did Suta Goswami hear and serve so that he became advanced in knowledge? Here he is accepting that although he was born not in a pure birth, but in a mixed birth, but still he is promoted. How? By serving the great souls. What is the great soul he served? Suta Goswami. And how? Yes, Dayashil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Ramya.
Prabhuji, Sukadev Goswami.
How? How did he serve?
By hearing Krishna Katha from him.
Yes, with attention, with rapt attention. He served Srila Sukadev Goswami by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from him with rapt attention. So he is promoted, he is elevated to such a stage. Even by conversing with such great souls, one cannot without any delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from a lower birth. So how much gratitude is there in his heart for his spiritual master, that is Sukadev Goswami. Suta Goswami did not take his birth in a Brahmana family. He was born in a family of mixed caste or an uncultured low family. But because of higher association like Srila Sukadev Goswami and the great rishis of Naimisharanya, both. Prabhupada is mentioning not only Sukadev Goswami, also the rishis of Naimisharanya. Certainly the disqualification of inferior birth was washed off. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed this principle in pursuance of the Vedic usage. And by his transcendental association, he elevated many low-born men or those disqualified by birth or action to the status of devotional service and established them in the positions of acharyas or authorities. Please mention some of the examples. What Srila Prabhupada is quoting here. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his association and by engaging those who were low-born, they were promoted to the, yes, Dayashil Prabhu. Of course, the first and foremost name is Haridas, Namacharya Srila Haridasa Thakur. Other than that, बोलो बोलो ये वो तो बहुत obvious है. There are many. बोलो जल्दी बोलो. अभी मायापुर जाना चाहते हैं तो चैतन्य लीला में है कहाँ? चैतन्य लीला में कौन कहाँ है ये तो पता होना चाहिए. Who are the others who were low born but they became acharyas? Yes, Pradeep Prabhu.
Sri Ramanand Rai.
Yes, very good. Sri Ramanand Rai. What quality did he exhibited? That could surpass the sannyasis, although he was a kayastha, low born. You should be knowing this, na? On what basis he was nominated as an acharya? Sri Ramanand Roy. Yes, Dayashil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Very good.
Prabhuji, Srila Ramananda Roy heard from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the discourse about Srimad Bhagavatam.
That is true, but what is the quality that he exhibited? That he was nominated. Varangi, Hari bol, sit, बैठ जाओ, बैठो, बैठ के सुनो, बैठ जाओ, sit, sit, नीचे बैठो. What is the most outstanding quality which Srila Ramananda Raya exhibits?
Prabhuji, he was a king, Prabhuji. He was king. Still
No, he is not a king. He was the governor. King was Maharaj Pratap Rudra.
still he came to visit Mahaprabhu.
No. That is all secondary. The most prominent quality that he exhibited. None of you know. Srila Ramanand Roy. Complete sense control and mind control. He could bathe the young damsels who were performing for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. They were called Devadasis. He could bathe them, he could dress them. And still, there was no sex desire in his heart. Such control is not even there in the most advanced sannyasis. So this was exhibited. Srila Kabirdas Goswami says that to demolish the pride in the hearts of the sannyasis, Mahaprabhu exhibited this complete control of mind and sense through Srila Ramananda Roy. Others, please mention some more. इतने सालों से चैतन्य लीला सुन रहे हैं. Yes, Madan Swarup Prabhu.
Prabhu, Srila Roop and Sanatan, though they were born in a Brahmin family, but they considered themselves low caste.
Yeah, but then what made them become acharyas?
They took instruction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and followed the instruction.
What is that quality that made them acharyas?
Their humbleness?
Yes, their humility. Humility. The humility. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demolished the pride of both the Brahmanas and the sannyasis. And he gave this principle that he elevated many low-born men or those disqualified by birth or action to the status of devotional service and established them in the positions of acharyas or authority. He clearly stated that any man, whatever he may be, whether a Brahmana, a Shudra by birth, or a householder or mendicant by social order, can be accepted as an acharya or guru or spiritual master if he is conversant with the science of Krishna. What is the verse? Very, very popular verse, very important verse. Many times we have discussed on this verse. Whether he be a Brahmana or Shudra or a householder or mendicant, it does not matter. He can be accepted as an acharya or guru. What is the verse? Very famous verse. If you are coming in the lineage of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you should be knowing this verse and this principle. Yes, बोलिए. हाथ उठाया आपने? I don't know whether it is Ravinder or
प्रभु जी.
हाँ.
प्रभु जी किबा विप्रो किबा न्यासी शूद्र केन नय जय कृष्ण तत्ववेता सही गुरु हो.
Clear, very good. Okay. Kiba Vipra means Brahmana. Kiba Nyasi means a sannyasi. Shudra cannot know. Either he may be Shudra, it does not matter. Jai Krishna Tattvaveta, one who is experienced, or one who is conversant with the science of Krishna. Jai Krishna Tattvaveta, say Guru Hoy. Sud Goswami learned the science of Krishna from the great rishis and authority like Shukdev and Vyasadeva. And he was so qualified that even the sages of Naimisharanya eagerly wanted to hear from him the science of Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he had the double association of great souls by hearing and preaching. This is what we have to do. We have to be engaged both in hearing and also in preaching. The transcendental science or the science of Krishna has to be learned from the authorities. So when one becomes conversant in the science and preaches it, he becomes still more qualified. So Suta Goswami had both the advantages, and thus undoubtedly he was completely freed from all disqualifications of low birth and mental agonies. This verse definitely proves that Suta Goswami's inferior birth did not cause either Srila Shukdev Goswami to refuse to teach him about the transcendental science or the sages of Naimisharanya to refuse to hear lessons from him. This means that the thousandth of years ago there was no bar to learning or preaching the transcendental science because of inferior birth. Prabhupada proves this. The rigidity of the so-called caste system in Hindu society became prominent only with the last 100 years. So when even the number of Dvijabandhus or disqualified men in the families of higher caste increased, Lord Sri Chaitanya revived the original Vedic system and he elevated Thakur Haridas to the position of Namacharya, or the authority in preaching and the glories of the holy name of the Lord. Although His Holiness Srila Haridas Thakur was pleased to appear in a family of Mohammedans. Such is the power of pure devotees of the Lord. Ganges water is accepted as pure, and one can become purified by taking a bath in the water of the Ganges. But as far as the great devotees of the Lord are concerned, they can purify a degraded soul even by being seen by a low-born. And what to speak of association? Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to purify the whole atmosphere of the polluted world by sending qualified preachers all over the world to preach the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Why? To purify everyone, to give the opportunity to get purified. How? By associating with these saintly persons. And it remains with the Indians to take up this task scientifically and thus do the best kind of humanitarian work rather than performing some stereotyped imitation philanthropic work such as opening hospitals. So Prabhupada is expressing his agony, his dissatisfaction to what is required to be done is being neglected, and what that is insignificant is very much being sought after. Like we see today, in today's day, everyone wants to be in Sangam. Just by being there in Sangam, they'll become purified of all their contaminations and sin. The purification process is here in Srimad Bhagavatam, in hearing and glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. And by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we are directly associating with Srila Prabhupada through his purports. But that hardly anyone is interested. Gangara parashe hoile paschate pavan. Darshane pavitra karo ei tomar gun. All the acharyas are giving us this principle, but hardly anyone is accepting. What to say of following? What the world is blindly seeking after, it hardly has any spiritual value. It is a ritual. When it becomes spiritual, when we follow the acharya. We're not following the acharya. Prabhupada went to preach. He did not. You see Prabhupada's conversation? I have seen that in 1977 for the Kumbh. Prabhupada did not stay long. He left from there. And you know from where he went? After he left Prayag, where did he go? Anyone remembers? Prabhupada went to Bhuvaneshwar. He laid the cornerstone of Krishna Balaram temple there. And he gave one of the most beautiful translation of Nectar of Instruction, which has only 11 verses. Updeshamrit. Prabhupada did not spend much time there in Kumbha. But the purpose for his going was to attract people to become Krishna conscious than rather remain in their ritualistic way of practice. But what are others going? For preaching. They are going to get a holy dip to be free from their contaminations. But here is the opportunity to be free from contamination by entering into the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is saying, rather than performing some stereotyped imitation philanthropic work such as opening hospitals, the mental disease of the present generation are more acute than bodily disease. It is quite fit and proper to take up the preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world without delay. Mahatmanam Abhidhana also means a dictionary of great devotees, or a book full of the words of great devotees. Such books of the words of the great devotees and those of the Lords are the Vedas and allied literature, specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kuta punarghrineto nama tasya Mahatma ekanta parayanasya yo ananta shaktir bhagavan ananto Mahadgunatvadyam anantam ahu. Very beautiful verse. Kuta punarghrinanto namatasya. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy names of the unlimited, who has unlimited potency. Yo ananta shaktir, anant bhagavan ananto. And very important, again, this same words are coming here, which was there in the 15th verse. Mahatma ekanta parayanasya. Mahatma ekant parayanasya. So they are under the direction of those great devotees who have exclusive worship and service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the thing. What to speak of those who are under the direction of these such great devotees who are Mahatma ekanta parayanasya. Kuta punargrihnato nama tasya. What to speak of such devotees, of such personalities? And what are they always engaged in? Chanting the holy names of the unlimited. Yo ananta shaktir bhagavan ananto. Mahat gunatvad yam anantam ahu. The personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attribute, is called Ananta, the unlimited. The Dvijbandhus, or the less intelligent, uncultured men born of higher caste, put forward many arguments against the principles of lower caste men becoming Brahmanas in this life. They argue that birth in the family of a Shudra or less than Shudra is made possible by one's previous sinful acts. That one therefore has to complete the term of disadvantage due to lower birth. And to answer these false logicians, Srimad Bhagavatam asserts that one who chants the holy name of the Lord under the direction of a pure devotee can at once get free from the disadvantages due to lower caste birth. A pure devotee of the Lord does not commit any offense while chanting the holy name of the Lord. Prabhupada is coming to this point. They're not just chanting, but chanting, while chanting, not to commit any offense. There are 10 different offenses in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. To chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee means to chant offenselessly. Prabhupada is giving a very, very high definition of what it means to be chanting under the direction of a pure devotee. To chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee means to chant offenselessly. Offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord is transcendental. Very important purport. Prabhupada is saying, holy name is transcendental, but what kind of holy name? Offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord is transcendental. And therefore, such chanting can at once purify one from the effects of all kinds of previous sins. The offenseless chanting indicates that one has fully understood the transcendental nature of the holy name and has thus surrendered unto the Lord. Transcendentally, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical, being absolute. What is the verse? Transcendently, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical, being absolute. There are two verses, very famous verses. Transcendently, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical, being absolute. बोलो. This is the Mahima, the glories of the holy name. Yes, Pranab Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी अभिन्नतम नामो नामिना
Yes, Abhinatvam Namina. What is the full verse?
I remember first and only Nama Chintamani Krishna Sri Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha and
Purna Shuddho Nityamukto.
Nitya Mukta Abhinattam.
Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinatvam Nama Namino. Okay, very good. And there is one more. We recite every day like a parrot. बोलिए दयाशील प्रभु.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. नाम नाम अकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रापिता नियमित स्मरण न कालः. एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवान ममपि दुर्दैवम.
Yeah. Transcendently, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical, being absolute. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord. The Lord is the all-powerful personality of Godhead, and he has innumerable names, which are all non-different from him and are equally powerful also. In his last instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asserts that one who surrenders fully unto him is protected from all sins by the grace of the Lord. And since his name and he himself are identical, the holy name of the Lord can similarly protect the devotees from all effects of sins. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord can undoubtedly deliver one from the disadvantage of a lower caste birth. The Lord's unlimited power is extended on him by the unlimited expansion of his devotees and incarnations. And thus, every devotee and incarnation can also be equally surcharged with the potency of the Lord. Very beautiful. The Lord's unlimited power is extended on and on by the unlimited expansion of his devotees and incarnation. And thus, every devotee and incarnation can also be equally surcharged with the potency of the Lord. Since the devotee is surcharged with the potency of the Lord, even fractionally, a disqualification due to lower birth cannot stand in the way. Etabalam nanu suchitena guner asamya anati sayanasya hitva itnan prarthayato vibhuti yasyangrirenum jushate anabhipisho. It is now ascertained that he, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited and there is no one equal to him. Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers. But this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, although he is unwilling to have such a service. According to the Shruti, the personality of Godhead or the Parameshwar Parabrahma has nothing to do. He has no equal and no one can excel him. He has unlimited potencies and his every action is carried out systematically in his natural and perfect way. What is the verse? Anyone knows? this verse? Prabhupada is giving the translation. That he has unlimited potencies and his every action is carried out systematically in his natural and perfect way. That the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in himself when he has nothing to accept from anyone else, including the great demigod like Brahma. Anyone knows this verse? Very famous verse. Quoted in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada quotes it many times in Bhagavad Gita also. Yes, Purushottam Prabhu. बोलिए, आपका हाथ उठा रखा है. बोलिए पुरुषोत्तम. आपका वॉइस आ नहीं रहा है.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हरे कृष्णा. बोलिए. कनेक्शन उनका क्लियर नहीं है. और कोई? जब भी whenever the supreme position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is mentioned, this verse comes. How is the enjoyer? How is the controller? How is the proprietor? बोलो. Which verse is this? One of the Upanishad verse. Manoram Prabhu, you should be knowing this verse. Then how can you justify that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Bolo Purushottam. If you are back.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु, I understand Maya Dakshin Prakati.
No. That is different. Here, see, again I am reading. Srila Prabhupada is quoting from the Upanishad that according to the Shrutis, the personality of Godhead or the Parmeshwar Parabrahma has nothing to do. He has no equal, nor does anyone excel him. He has unlimited potencies. This is very important. And his every action is carried out systematically in his natural and perfect way. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in himself and he has nothing to accept from anyone else, including the great demigod like Brahma. The most important thing is that he has unlimited potencies and every action is carried out systematically in his natural and perfect way. What is this verse? What is the reference? यस दयाशील प्रभु, शुक्र है इतने सालों से सुन रहे हो. अभी तो जगह
प्रभु जी.
बोलो.
प्रभु जी,
पूरा
पराशर
वर्ड सुनना पड़ेगा. हाँ, यस. पराशर शक्ति
विधेयते श्रूयते स्वाभाविकी बलक्रिया. प्रभु जी.
पूरा पूरा बोलो. अभी भी पूरा नहीं बोला आपने. आधा शुरू किया, 1/4 ही बोला है. मनोराम प्रभु, Prabhupada quotes that in 3rd chapter, 22nd verse. Also in 8th chapter, 22nd verse. You open Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 22nd verse. Yes, this is the one. Yes, here. Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Devatam Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad Vidam Deva Bhuvaneshamidyam Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate Na tat samascha vidikascha drishyate Parasha Sakti Vivideva Shruyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. Read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation. The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers, and he is the greatest of all the diverse planetary leaders. Everyone is under his control. All entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. He is also worshipable by all demigods and is the supreme director of all directors. Therefore, he is transcendental to all kinds of material leaders and controllers and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he is the supreme cause of all causes.
Yeah. Next. This is what the Natasya Karam. Okay. He does not possess.
He does not possess a bodily form like that of an ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other senses. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence.
Now, this is the point. His potencies are multifarious. Parasha Shakti Vivideva Suryate. And how it performs? Swabhaviki. Automatically performed as a natural sequence without any endeavor or effort. Okay, you can close it. Others ask for favor of the goddess of fortune, and yet despite such prayer, she declines to award such favors. But still she renders service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he has nothing to accept from her. The personality of Godhead in his Garbhodakshai Vishnu features begets Brahma, the first created person in the material world, and from his navel lotus stem, and not in the womb of the goddess of fortune. Prabhupada is hammering this. That Vishnu begets Brahma, the first created person in the material world, from his navel lotus, and not in the womb of the goddess of fortune, who is eternally engaged in his service. These are some of the instances of his complete independence and perfection. The statement that he has nothing to do does not mean that he is impersonal. He is transcendently so full of inconceivable potencies that simply by his willing, everything is done without physical or personal endeavor. He is therefore called Yogeshwara, or the Lord of all mystics. So I'll stop here and we will continue. Krishna willing, tomorrow. Tomorrow is also the appearance of great Acharya, Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Tomorrow is 12th, huh? 12th, I think, is the appearance of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Hare Krishna. Anything to discuss? Any question or any clarification? You see the eagerness of the sages in Naimisharanya and see the overwhelming gratitude in the heart of the speaker, Srila Suta Goswami. This is a perfect combination of a qualified hearer and very qualified speaker. Then the Bhagavatam can flow. Then that rasa can unrestrictedly flow and inundate the hearts of those who are hearing and speaking. Hare Krishna. बोलो, कुछ प्रश्न उत्तर होना चाहिए। भागवतम सारा प्रश्न उत्तर ही है। देखो, बार बार सेजस पूछ रहे हैं और सुखदेव गोस्वामी बोल रहे हैं। आगे परीक्षित महाराज पूछेंगे और सुखदेव गोस्वामी बोलेंगे। There should be some discussion to keep this point. बोलिए मनोराम प्रभु।
Prabhuji, chanting holy name itself is transcendental, but here, as you also stressed, Prabhuji, this offenseless chanting is only transcendental. Why so, Prabhuji?
Because offenseless chanting, one will come to the transcendental platform. While chanting with offenses, one will never touch the transcendental platform. He will remain in the material platform. The transcendental sound will not enter his heart. How can it enter? Offensive chanting means that he is still on the material platform. He is not considering abhinnatvam nam namina. That is our position. Do we see Krishna fully present in his holy names? Do we consider the holy names non-different from Krishna? So we have no taste. And why we do not have the taste? Because we do not value. We fail to value. So as we fail to value, the potency of the holy name does not manifest. When one is chanting with offense, the potency of the holy name will not manifest. And when it does not manifest, how he can come to the transcendental platform? So at least every day we should have we should be very conscious about it, very cognitive, not to commit offense. That is, the attempt should be there. The attempt itself is very uplifting. That there is a sincere attempt not to commit offense. And we know that by our conditioned nature, by our material mind, and with our lusty intelligence, it is impossible. So we should beg, we should pray that please save me from offenses. One of the foremost quality of our Guru Maharaj is that he was very, very alert in not committing any offense to any Vaishnava. I have seen that in his dealing, even with his disciples. He was so conscious. But we think, अरे ठीक है, क्या है? We don't consider the other devotee to be a devotee in connection with Krishna. We don't see that. We don't have that vision. We see him ordinary. क्या है? कुछ नहीं है. मेरे सामने तो आया है. अभी तो कुछ नहीं आता. We fail to see the connection with Krishna. So we commit offense. We should be very vigilant. The desire should be there. Desire will also come when there is certain level of purification. When one becomes alert, vigilant, not to commit offense. Every day, before chanting, we have this process of going through the 10 offenses so that we become conscious that we don't commit them. Of course, that is why we are chanting and we are not on the transcendental level. When chanting is on the transcendental level, why we are not on the transcendental level? Although we are chanting, what is the reason? Clearly here is mentioned. Because we are chanting not offenselessly, with offense. So as our chanting improves, how the chanting will improve? That our offenses become less offensive. As we become less offensive, we become more receptive to hear the holy name. And as we hear, the process of purification begins. Prabhupada is very much emphasizing. And what also one more statement, very prominent statement Prabhupada said in regard to offenseless chanting. Who picked it up? Here in the same purport. Yes, Dayashil?
Prabhuji, like Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita and Sarvadharmani Parityaji, Mamekam Sharanam Bhaja, Aham Tvam Sarvapapabhyo. So Prabhupada told that even chant the holy name offenselessly, then the holy name can give the same result as Supreme Lord is declaring, making one free from all reaction of the sin and also protecting the devotee. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now, one more important, that's something very important. It's mentioned there, Prabhupada very prominently mentions it. Two very prominent discoveries today. One that you spoke, that unless one chants offenselessly, one cannot come on the transcendental platform. What is the second one? There itself, Prabhupada has mentioned. Yes, Manoram Prabhu?
I think before that, Prabhupada told that who chants the holy name of the Lord under the direction of a pure devotee can at once get free from disadvantage due to lower caste birth.
Yeah, so read ahead. So what it means that one is who is under the direction of a pure devotee?
A
So very
pure devotee of Lord does not commit any offense while chanting the holy name of the Lord.
okay, go ahead further.
There are 10 different offenses in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. To chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee is offenseless chanting.
Yeah, this is the point. Read again.
To chant the holy name under the direction of a pure devotee is offenseless chanting.
Yes, sir. So see, where are we under the direction of a pure devotee? Where are we under the direction of a pure devotee if we are committing offense while chanting? All transcendental, the holy name is transcendental, the devotee is transcendental, Supreme Lord is transcendental. So why we are not on material platform? Because prominently due to committing offense. So at least if we can wake up and we can have this conscious awareness not to commit offense, that also is very glorious position. It's not an ordinary position. When one is conscious not to commit offense and he wants to avoid it. Okay. Thank you all very much. We'll continue. Tomorrow I'll speak on Srila Narottam Das Thakur's glories. Some of the pastimes of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, which I have not shared with you so far, ever, which I have not got opportunity in so many times. I have already been blessed to give class of Srila Narottam Das Thakur at least 5 to 6 times. But there are still a lot of things which I have never discussed. Maybe by mercy of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, tomorrow we may be able to discuss. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What happened, Sonika? Your health is not okay?
No, Prabhuji, it's fine. Just tired, Prabhuji.
Take rest. Sleep well, sleep early. You should not wake up after 10 and you should not sleep after 4:30. Please try to make this a practice. Hare Krishna.